It's time for Power Hour.
Just close this fucking door. Close the door.
Hello, traders. Welcome to the Power Hour stream. A little late, sorry about that. Just had some stuff going on. Yeah, we congregate here. Typically look at Bitcoin first and then look at some other big cryptos, and we go to equities, commodities, whatever, go around. And so we start with Bitcoin, and today Bitcoin's up about 500 points after that really nice bullish engulfing candle yesterday. But there's always a but. The level in the sand that is just undeniable. 106, 150 really. The candle high closes from December and January still being regarded and respected. There's still supply there, enough supply to prevent buyers from going really any higher. You know, that's where we are. And we discussed like the levels of adversity above us are, you know, greater than you think. They're just like 5+ levels that must be broken, and you're at the first one. You're at the black gate we're talking about. You are not in Mordor. You are outside of Mordor trying to get in. And this would be step one, to break this, to run straight to 108.5, to take you to the old intraday all-time high. Now, we just haven't done it yet. But hey, maybe with the bullish engulfing candle, catching a fall-through candle today, maybe we do it tomorrow. Maybe not. All right, so that's just like you got to stay grounded after that huge rally off key supports, right? That was the target level. If things went awry below 106, 150 anyway, it did. You had some weekend price action, got as low as 98.2, and buyers recaptured and even retested it as support. So we're just ping-ponging between major levels, and the cool thing is they're being extremely well respected. All right, that's where we're at on Bitcoin. No real change there. You can see Bitcoin on the 4-hour above my head. They're just up against that 200 simple moving average on this time scale. Can't break it. And the thing with the 4-hour is you've not quite yet, even if you considered, you know, if you look at the 4-hour, you can see discernible swing highs and lows. Undeniably, here's a high, here's some lows, here's a high, here's a low. Here's a high, here's a low. You can see them, right, discernibly. And so you look at what is a discernible peak on Bitcoin. It looks kind of like June 20th was a peak for reversal. And, you know, buyers are just rivaling that. We're not even technically making a higher high yet. We were close. We're very close, and I'm hoping we do. Problem is, you know, we have two different zones on the daily 4-hour due to candle closes and stuff like that, and price action correlation, different time scales. And you can see here that the buyers, even last swing high on the 20th, they couldn't even test that 106.9 level. They only tested the 200 some moving average before rolling over. So here we are again up against this one, I guess you would call it, I mean, 200 moving average being resistance for now. I mean, they all day, but even yesterday before the close. So not making a higher high yet, and not even at key levels here. You'd still have more work to do even if you went higher. Okay, got to break 106.9, got to break 107.9. You're just not there yet, okay? So we have that channel. So, I mean, we're just contained within the parameters of a structure of consolidation now. Consolidation been going on since May. And I was looking at this earlier, you know, someone I know, like, okay, I've got a group of friends, they run hedge funds and all that. Some do Bitcoin, you know, BitX, BitU and stuff like that. And they were, you know, one was talking about he offloaded just because just tired of waiting on it, and he can get wrecked on decay and stuff. And so it made me just kind of think like, He said, he told me, he's like, oh, in before it moons now, in before it breaks up, when we're going into price discovery. And that made me think about, like, okay, we're like a week away from July. And it's like, well, how is seasonality in July? And I looked over the past 10 Julys, okay, past 10 years of Julys. And there wasn't ever a time when we went into, okay, we could have been in bullish trends for sure, or no trends, but there was never a time in the past decade where Bitcoin in the month of July went into a breakout into price discovery markup, where we've never seen prices like that before. We're sitting, it's the 4th of July, right? There are fireworks going off, dogs barking, we're at the lake. It's never happened in a decade. I didn't go further back than that because I figured that was enough data to just kind of be like, okay, the trend isn't really good for price discoveries in July. And I guess what I can do is we can look at that together. Since I did it by myself, it's more fun doing stuff together. So we can just go back, all right, where July is upon us. We're in an interesting situation. No value here, but, and you're also up against resistance. So, like, for the swing traders mantra, not the best. Now, if you were long in maybe 99 or 100K, 99.3, okay, you're at support. Well, you're at resistance now. Lots of it, tons of it, right? Right above us. So we look at July of last year and what happened. Okay, it was June. So there was no price discovery, right? We had a nice July because we had a terrible, terrible June into July. And then a rally ensued throughout July until the Bitcoin conference. And then the last couple days of July, the reversal began. And then August was just really bad. We flash crashed. So, yet we had a rally, but I'm talking about price discovery in July, meaning like we've never seen these levels ever, and it's July, and we're moving up. Okay, so not last year. You go back to the summer of 2023, and as you can see, you were already elevated after a run. There, of course, was no chance of price discovery because we were so far removed from the all-time highs. So just thinking about, like, how did July go in 2023? You were sideways for a little while, first half of the month, and the second half of the month, you just started marking down off resistance. And then August came around. August was bad. Okay, so last year's August, 2024 August was real bad. 2023's August was really nasty. Okay, then we can go further back to July of 2022, which again, we're not talking about rallies, we're talking about price discovery. Wasn't even close. Yeah, a rally ensued throughout August, mid-August, when you started dumping again. So, all right. Dang, Anonymous, what's up? Dude. Type in the chat, dude. Type in the chat.
Hey brother, can we take a look at Out and Tug? Thanks.
We will look at those assets. Thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate that. That's the largest contribution I've received probably in 3 weeks. Thank you, dude. On stream. Kings, man. Yeah, we'll look. So just kind of going further into, how about 2021? How are things? Well, 2021, yep, you got a late July, a rally began that took you from one major low to a high. So you can definitely have like rallies in July. Okay, but not price discovery. Oh my God, we're going to do things. 2020 was definitely a different year. Late July, you started rallying, leveled out in August, and then again, I guess late August, early September. September you dumped, but then higher low, then you ran again. So again, you can get rallies. That's good. But we're talking price discovery. How about July was when it kind of came to an end. This was the only time that was kind of like not price discovery, but it was like, dang man, we had an incredible June in 2019, and then time went by in July, and then if you remember, if you were here, we were here. This was some golden age for this stream in 2019, man. That Harmonic shark, it was a W. It wasn't really a formal W shape because of rules. Damn man, trying to go back. Probably just getting too much on a. Yeah, there it was. Yeah, that developed. So it started with the Gartley in February 2019, concluded in July. Just like U.S. oil, if you remember, this is the identical pattern. It's like crazy. And so we eventually saw the 3000s again from there. So, but I guess what we could do is just go further back where, okay, I'll start going a little quicker on these. So no there. In July of 2018, you had a nice inverse head and shoulders pattern that developed. It was beautiful. It was identified. It was on the stream way back. That was the first year of ever streaming. The pattern was, and it rallied. Measured move got hit, but downtrend, lower high than previous high. You rolled over beginning in August. So rallies happen, but not price discovery rallies. So we look back at July 2017. You had a rally, but never were breaking into price discovery. You didn't start that till August. That's price discovery. Then you can go back to 2016, July 2016, where you're elevated, and that's June you start selling off, and then July you're sideways before you start marking down at the beginning of August. So, you know, you see what I'm saying? I'm just saying trending wise, that's the whole purpose of what I'm talking about. It's like never happened in 10 years where we've gone in price discovery in July. So I don't know. What do you think that matters? It may not matter. It may not mean anything. Number go up. It's a different age, man. We got Michael Saylor clones buying Bitcoin every day. $100 million. Yeah. Metaplanet, Japanese, European, Saudi Arabia. It doesn't matter, dude. We got Texas is taking taxpayer money, 10 million of it, and buying Bitcoin. Okay, I mean, like, I get it. I totally understand. But at the same time, all that can be going on, and we just go sideways again for another month. Till August, September. See, like, typically seasonality, the price discovery godlike moves, you saw it last year. It was Q4. Q3, end of Q3 starts maybe doing stuff. Then Q4, it's like, blow it out. Up until March, you know, into Q4 into Q1, and then consolidation, correction. All right, so that was just, you know, sometimes it's cool to talk about different things. Well, just understand, if we're looking at this and we're not romanticizing it like, oh, dude, it is by far one of the best inventions in human history. I think it is. If it's just another asset, well, I mean, it could be bull flagging, downslope consolidation after 50% run in 42 days. That's awesome. A lot of supply here, though. Tons of supply, and you're up at the elevated areas, right? You're not at areas of value, right? There's been no nice pullback on Bitcoin after this run, so value perceived areas are going to be lower, like 93K. The highest value area is probably going to be in the 80s. Okay, again, that's Fibonacci. That's how we gauge value with Fibonacci retraces. And so far, I think we're at are we at a 382? Or we even seen a 382 yet? No, we didn't even get there. We were like at 37% retrace, not a 38% retrace, because that's the beginning of the golden zone. So we got freaking really close at the lowest lows at 98.2 on Sunday. Just not there yet. But again, typically, Bitcoin doesn't make 886s. See, altcoins, yeah, they almost always make 88% retraces. It means 100%, 113, 127% retraces. They're bad. Bitcoin typically, like, so for instance, we went on a correction. We went from this like swing low from September to the high. You went to a 61% retrace. That's really good. I mean, that's golden retrace, confluent with the old all-time high from 2024. But the deep value perceived areas, value with a V, 786, 886, both were confluent with other supports. But there was just too much demand. Again, there's stuff going on. There's like actual global adoption happening with Bitcoin. So you're not going to get to those deeper value areas. You're just going to get to moderate value, which is, again, a golden retrace. That's the bottom of the golden zone. So, again, and that's maybe the same thing happens if things go bad. If like somehow we can't breach through the black gate, which we're testing it 2 days now. If we can't, even if we did and we made it, halfway through Mordor, you still have millions of orcs up at 109,358 that you got to like somehow get through. Good luck. And then to even breathe the air in Mordor is poison. So it's like lots of adversity. So you got to break the supply line of the channel that we're in, and they could run it up there, and we put it in a third peak, and then we roll over. So there's a lot going on here, okay? I would feel 10 times better if we're trading above 109,358. I'm thinking like, wow, 120 and beyond, no problem. And that's just such a mouthful. All right, so... Let me check my notes. I guess we could just ask Jonathan how he's doing. Jonathan, you okay, man?
I like turtle.
All right, total market cap. This is all the major cryptos that exist out there. We had a really, really spectacular bounce off the previous cycle top, 2021's high. Bullish engulfing candle. They recaptured the 200-day simple moving average, and you're catching some fall through today. Very nice. But you just got to think, like, practically here, if you're contained within this consolidation structure, your upside could be higher. I mean, 3.38 trillion to go test this, and there will probably be supply there. So they could run it. I mean, that means if this was happening, if we were going to 3.38, Bitcoin's going to 109,358. It's a big resistance, so I hope it does. I mean, like, the way the stock market's looking, good God, I can't be that surprised. If risk on, it's like crazy risk on all caps after a ceasefire. Yeah, the problem is with the index funds, you gapped up. And that gap's just looming right below you. Like, that's going to fill, but who knows when are they going to do that? Okay, Bitcoin dominance. Let's check it out. We like checking it. Okay, after, a couple days ago and a few days ago, multi-year highs in a row. He pulled back yesterday, and today that bearish engulfing candle is catching a little fall through. Who cares? It's so elevated. The trend is so bullish for years. Higher highs, higher lows. So until they start making lower lows, lower highs consecutively, go with the trend. I feel like either way, whether Bitcoin breaks into price discovery when it has in July and it hasn't done it in 10 plus years, if ever, because I didn't even check the 5 years after, or 5 years before the 10. If that happened, then Bitcoin dominance is probably going to go higher. And even if Bitcoin was going to reverse here because just too much resistance, they're just doing bearish back tests, whatever. We got to go sideways for more months before we could maybe go way higher later this year. This thing's going to go up faster. So I think it'd be a slower grind if somehow Bitcoin starts going into price discovery soon. And I think it's going to be a rapid ascent if Bitcoin begins to reverse back down to, 99, 100K again. So altcoins will just get cooked. And you can see how close they were to getting murked. They were very close. So you can thank Bitcoin for that recovery. Okay, we can go to Ethereum. Sorry, it's
Since we started out on Bitcoin, let's go further into crypto.
well, here we are. They went down to the next target area. The only thing that made sense next. We don't act like we're We're not going to be calling for 1728 when there are supports above, right? So it's a one support at a time. They went to that. Bitcoin caught favorable price action at its own respective level. So did Ethereum. Massive engulfing candle, and you're back above 2400, which is really good. I mean, that is not a joke of an area. I mean, above that could have serious implications, but being above that level, you can see this older little channel that broke down. They broke it down out of. You know, you're just up against that, and it's being tested as resistance, kind of, I guess. But yeah, I mean, cautious optimism above 2400. But my God, dude, Bitcoin, the buyers really need to break some of these levels that they're testing. They've been testing all day today. If you care, if you've been watching Bitcoin throughout the trading session on Wall Street. 106, we're 106, 150, 106, and back down. Again and again and again all day. They have not been able to do it. And you're still, with 21 minutes to go till the daily candle close, they can't do it. So maybe we'll pray for some Asian help, you know, because Asia markets are opening soonish. They would have to be the buyers probably to get us back above 106, 150. All right, so that's Ethereum. Nice recovery. I mean, incredible, right? From the lowest point to the highest point of this recovery, up 17.4%, currently up 15.6% off the lows from 2 days ago. So nice. Okay, and then, you know, XRP, you were thinking, it's done, dude. It's cooked. There's no way, man. No way. And then, yes way. Like, they just took it back to the level. And my God, once again, like over and over and over again, these scalpers came in. They said, yeah, we're going to take a shot again here. And from the lowest point to the highest point of today, XRP 15.67% recovery at its current time, up 14%. But man, nice engulfing candle. And if you go to the 4 hour, you can see some really nice spring back tests, just like Bitcoin. I mean, it's just crazy how they do it, man. It's crazy how they do it. Oh, we broke it, but then they recapture, but then they reconfirm. And only after they reconfirm do we then rally. Same thing happened on XRP to its own level. I'm not sure I have this plotted. Oh, yeah, look, like just, it's crazy, right? You know, if you watch the stream, you know for a fact, I don't change these levels. They've just been here since they were created, right? And so you're just looking at them, and it's like, that's wild. 196.5 was broken, and then they recaptured, reconfirmed, and then we rallied. So that's on the nice side of things. Great. Nothing somber there. Now we need to worry about, like, can we invalidate this momentum shifting structure? Because you can't just do this and then rally and end up reversing before making a higher high than 233, 234. We need to see a higher high, you know. A higher high would be great. But at the same time, I mean, like, if you wanted to be more, you know, advantageous or more opportunistic for a swing trader, you always want confirmation lows. Yeah, you want another test eventually. And you want to see buyers come in and we hold that for a second time, then I think there would be, you know, more reason to believe a bigger rally's coming. But yeah, it's cool. Like, right. So like, I'm just here talking about, wow, the events that occurred this weekend were scary, but in the end, all the levels were defended. And some levels were broken, right? But Bitcoin's 99 300K level, they defended it. They back tested it. Ethereum ran to the next level, buyers defended it, and you've rallied all the way to the next resistance. XRP, same thing. They sold it off to the next big support, and buyers came in, they defended it. So, and then you also have Solana that went to a level that we know so well. We are very intimate with this level. Yeah, we have tremendous amounts of intimacy here. Okay, and so what happened? They took it to the level, and then the bids came in. It's like magic, isn't it? It's a big bullish engulfing candle back above all the key levels, and now, like, looking to, it's up today. So they're looking to confirm the bullish engulfing candle. But you're always, again, if you care about being a prudent swing trader with the best chance for a more resounding rally, you always want a second test of the key levels locally. So you would want something like this to happen if you wanted the best opportunity for, again, a more resounding rally. And you don't have to have it. I'm just saying it's a criteria that you want to have met. You want it to be on any chart you're looking along. So who's to say that it can't? The engulfing candle just can't go crazy now. But cool. More levels tested successfully as support, and had a nice day yesterday. It was up almost 10%. Weekly here. TA's a bit. Let me hide this real quick. If you look at this weekly, give me a sec. All right, I mean, that's like spring back test of spring situation on the weekly. It's very interesting here. Very interesting. You gotta wonder. I mean, see the candle, it's 5 days. Who knows what this candle could turn into? So it's just so early, but yeah, you're just back at this magic zone here, aren't you? Like that's it. In fact, you're at a level where, I mean, if it's real and Bitcoin doesn't collapse, I mean, 174 looks like a good target on the weekly on Solana. Assuming this candle stays as is or higher in 5 days, just too much time left. But yeah, I mean, could be. Who's to say they couldn't just take this down to like 118 again, before recapturing? It just so much chop and stuff. That's why you're looking for local positive price action correlation, local confirmation lows, like on less significant time scales like the daily. So these, like, let there be no doubt, that it looks good on the weekly, looks good on the daily at the same time. Looks good on the 12-hour, maybe 4-hour too. So BNB that had that head and shoulders, but then rallied. They recaptured the key level. Oh my God. Well, this is like what you consider, like, for now, a fake out, because the neckline has been recaptured of the head and shoulders. Bullish engulfing candle, and they're back testing. They're trying to confirm what was once this crazy effing resistance. It's now support today. But, of course, always a freaking but on these jokes. They're below the 200 moving average. Like, really? You can't break that? So we could be witnessing a classic fake out of a bearish pattern failing, and we're watching the buyers give us some indication that they're alive, and maybe resistance is flipping to support today. Have fun, man. Have fun. The problem is just like Bitcoin, knowing where it's at, it's just, we like buying supports. I mean, right, a disciplined swing trader is just looking to long supports if they can help it, and just Bitcoin's not at support. It's up against a plethora of resistances. So anytime that exists, you're in a tougher spot. If you ever want to take a fresh long today, it's just tough on any asset. It doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin. We just like Bitcoin. We believe in it fundamentally, what it is, and what kind of role it's going to have in the future of human civilization. You want to top blast, Mom? Does that just mean you want to buy at resistance, which is literally, inherently, the absolute worst thing, highest risk thing you could do, right? Like, anytime you're trying to, all right, I'm going to buy into resistance. Very real, undeniable, godlike. Look, resistance. It's not even something that could be argued with. My God, they even checked it back. See, the thing is, like, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but when we topped out in January, you saw a sharp drawdown to 97.7. Okay, the buyers recaptured that day, and we didn't even test it again. And then we got a bullish engulfing candle, and then we got another day where we rallied and we tested that same candle close, all-time high. And then we spent another day testing it, and then we failed, and then bearish engulfing candle, and then that was it. The correction continued on until we saw eventually $74,500. So we know it's real. Like, you cannot argue. You can't come in here and be like, bro, none of that's real. Yes, it is. I'm showing you with proof it's real. And so, dang, dude, how do I construct a trading plan here? You either got in at supports, that's fine. You longing supports and back tests of springs, that, like, people can do that. They did that. That's exactly what they did. Even though it was violent and happened probably within an hour and a half, 2 hours after the, literally, this went yesterday when the Iran was bombing Qatar, U.S. bases in Qatar. We saw the lowest point. We saw that check back. And then just moments after, the bomb news was released, or the missiles, launching, that news occurred, the rally began. So somehow, some way, the Middle East gave us a spring back test on Bitcoin. Okay, well, fine. People are going to take shots on that. Yes. But now we're in a different situation where we hit that support and now we're at resistance. And we haven't broken it yet. So it's like, you see what I'm saying? You're always looking to long support, see if you can help it. It's a lower risk situation inherently. Trying to buy at resistance is like you might have zero upside potential. You may have none. At least if you bought at a support, you know you have upside potential. It would be the next resistance, which is where we are right now. Okay, cool story, bro, right? Let's shift gears. It's crazy. There are a couple M shapes developing on some altcoins. I don't. No one cares. They're dead market. I don't even know if they're making the market anymore. But it's just kind of like Dogecoin. Wow, there's just little bitty M shape that's developing over the past 2 months, and you're at these 88% retraces locally. So it's like cool. All right, maybe I'll just show you before we go to the spider. Like right here. Like it's just there. Like I don't know. You're trying to begin a reaction, but I don't think anyone could argue with the validity of this identification, right? 886, right? X, A, B, C, D. Problem is you're below all the support resistance. You might bearish back test and then roll over, but it's kind of cool to see this. And then I think there was another one like on a really clean one. I think there are more. I just I'm looking at other stuff. Like something like IOTA, it's a 1%, but it's just like interesting. Okay, these are scam coins, so take it with a grain of salt. Scam coin, IOTA, failed ICO project from 2017. No one cares. But I'm just looking at it and I'm like, okay, so you got an M shape. You can also say this is a bullish bat pattern if you're like, that's not a valid chart because it's not a 1618 here. But okay, I could easily just XABCD its B points, C point would be valid. So either way, it is a valid harmonic, just not a shark, probably a bat. But it's just crazy how the April low, the whole market, you're back here, 886, and it just happens to be this like, oh yeah, look, 2022. Holy crap, man, 2019, it was a bottom. And so here we are. What's crazy is you go from this low point from November 2024 to the high point, you're like in the 88% retrace level. So you're like identifying value possibly within value, technically speaking, is scam coin, Beanie Baby. But it's just interesting, right? I mean, like there's just not been much to talk about besides, man, these assets suck. They're just jokes. And it's like, oh, cool. Write in the newsletter, oh, IOTA little M shape completing. Oh, okay. Whatever. Yeah, fruit fly. It's a freaking fruit fly, dude.
Sleepy T super chatted $49.99. Mitch, can you take a peek at Mr.? As always, thanks Spotty for all you do.
Sleepy T, yeah, we will look at Mr., dude.
Please clap.
Thank you so much, dude, for the $50 super chat. Thank you, and also Anonymous. Y'all are amazing. I really appreciate the contributions today. So we'll look at my strategy. It rallied today, and you're like, what? Yeah, it rallied, and trying to put it in a local bottom maybe, but not really at a support. Yeah, so it's just like, right, if you're looking for M shapes to develop, you kind of want them to look like this. You want like, oh dang man, it's at an undeniable historical support. 2019, 2022. Look at the consequences of buyers defending this level. Insane runs and rallies. Okay, even here when they recaptured it and reconfirmed, they crazy runs. So you're just back at this maybe magic area for IOTA. Oh, we'll see. And you got a really nice bullish engulfing candle too. Could be a signal candle. That's great, man. Okay, I just wanted to show you all that. All right, let's look at let's get through these index funds real quick, because incredible, right? We got the bat here, where the reaction, we're just waiting on something. Thought, oh my God, my Israel, my Iran, and then nope, don't care. We knew, Middle East war has zero effect on the U.S. equities, because they're just, the economies there are so small, infinitesimal. They mean nothing. They're not relevant. So, okay, clearly, free market. We saw the highest close today, highest price since February 21st, February 20th. So we're just inching closer to all-time highs. The Nasdaq itself did not see an all-time high. The only thing that did actually see an all-time high was the Nasdaq 100 futures. I'm from the future. From the future, man. And it was just intraday. I mean, it pulled back a little. But that is it. No other index fund. The S&P is getting really close, as you can see. It's very similar on S&P futures. So that's the thing, though. It's like there's just this unfilled gap. Like, what if we just go and fill the gap tomorrow, and then we run to all-time highs later in the week or next week or something? That gap there is kind of concerning. It's like gaps fill all the time, so that's just one extra thing to think about or worry about when you're already at this deep 886, where it's not like, hey, if you were long at lower prices and you're still in it, fine. Maybe someone took a little off the table and they're still in it. Okay, that's fine. But for people being like, all right, man, I have been cashed up this whole time. I'm time to go long. You're like the kid in the yearbook photo, like with the plaid shirt on, smiling with braces, like you're about to get wrecked. I mean, it's just, you're at that level where like wide-eyed innocent, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to long up here at all-time highs after a rally now that has extended 26% in 78 days. There could be a mild pullback in the short term. Maybe not. But either way, even if it does keep going to all-time highs, because number go up, monetary debasement's never going to end. We're just going to keep running. It's just not the most strategic entry. It just can't be when you're at 886's W-shape completion zones. But that's okay. Here's your Dow Jones. After that nice engulfing candle yesterday, recapturing the 200 moving average, we've gapped up pretty violently. We saw our highest price on the Dow Jones since March 3rd, our highest daily candle close since February 28th. So, nice. Just an unfilled gap right below us. Hope it continues higher sooner. And, there's some upside here. 886, pretty much the target, which is 44,000. To complete some of its own W shape. But yeah, that's it, man. Great day for the equities market, the index funds. And here's the Nasdaq. Didn't make all-time highs. I understand that. But futures did. So again, you've just got this. You're at the 886. You're exceeding the pattern completion zone now with an unfilled gap, and it's like, okay, don't get too excited, man. Not yet. Be careful. Be cautious. Do not be a part of the buyer-inducing rally after the 886. Again, if you're in it already, all right. More, I don't have as many concerns. It's just about the people on the sidelines that are like, all right, man, We just gapped up. Time to buy tomorrow. You'd be paying all-time high premium. You'd be paying higher premium than anyone's ever paid in the history of the stock market, just about. Premium. Because you're at all-time highs after the crazy 35% plus run off the lows. So, hope it continues and never stops. I hope we're at 22.5 by August. That'd be great, but that's just wishful thinking. Okay, Russ 2000 ETF, great to see. That bullish engulfing candle that recaptured 209. Unfilled gap just below us, but hey, highest daily candle close confirmed since June 10th, whatever. But still below the 200 moving average, so we got to recapture that. But it's cool to see us back above this. This is like a really big level. To be above 213 is like, man, that could be targeting for at least 226 to 230. If it's real, if they sustain prices above this level, given enough time, that would be your target up there. Crazy enough. All right, small caps, nice. All right, we got less than 2 minutes till the daily candle close in the crypto space. If you're enjoying the live stream, please hit the like button below. So thank y'all for being here. Each like matters, man. Okay, let's keep the likes slow and steady and consistent during these lull times, because summertime for Bitcoin is just typically sideways, choppy, up, down, no price discovery typically. You might get rallies in June. You might get a few rallies in July, but not price discovery breakouts. Oh my God, viewership's insane. I can't even read chat. It's so hype. We got the Hey song. No Hey songs in July. And typically not June either. Okay, so 35 seconds until, and we're real close, man. Like, it's like they're showing strength into the close. But again, the big number to break, definitively, not like kind of, I guess. All right, you look right here. What was the candle high close from December 17th before that mega reversal? It was 106.136. After that, 106.159. So between 106.130 and 106.160, that's the level to break. They kind of did it. Jesus chimes. 106.141. You pretty much closed right at resistance. Right at it, man. Dude, we got double Jesus chimes going on. Dude, Muggs, let's freaking go, dude.
Yo Mitch, can you check these out on the 3-day or weekly? $DKS, $UPS, $Kava.
The answer would be yes, of course. Thank you, dude. Oh, man. Anonymous, Sleepy T, and Muggs all, I mean, Anonymous was 55.55, Sleepy T with the 49.99, and Muggs coming out the 50. Thank you, you three. This is the, wow, that's the most contributions I think I've received. I think it's been since Mama Ivy in Vegas. So thank y'all. You can tell the economy is bad. It's very bad. I think stuff's changed too with like YouTube's algorithm. It is not near like it used to be. Things have changed a lot on the platform for discoverability. Way harder. And this makes sense. It's so saturated. I mean, people, all these Zoomers can't get jobs. They're in debt 100K and they're like, well, I'm going to do TikTok. I'm going to do YouTube. Everyone's creating content now, man. So how does the algorithm promote you over all these millions of people that are trying to create content and provide value? I mean, that's debatable. What is value to some people, So this is it, chat. We are at this resistance. This is very difficult, okay? Very difficult here. We kind of broke it, but you might have some intraday price action above it. But it's just, we closed the day at the black gate. We are not inside Mordor yet. We would be inside of Mordor above that 106, 150 level, okay? We got the new Skibidi, Ohio, Sprunky. Yeah, that's right. That's right, dude. No music? It's there. I just try not to play
Hey,
it.
could you look at dollar so? I like the daily and weekly.
What's up, Infinite Paradox, man? Thanks for 20. Yeah, Southern Company. Yeah, that one's, I think there were a couple of them that were like creating these sharks into type 2 returns, but the type 2 returns were just sideways. So you were just pausing when we should have been really rolling over, not happening. So, yeah, harmonic duds unfolding on some of those, like that utility company, Southern Company. Yeah, we'll look at SO, man. I think McDonald's failed too. No, McDonald's played out, right? It's like, I'm loving it. My God, I'm hating it. Oof. Yeah, we'll look at SO. Thank you, Infinite Paradox, for sure. They had the harmonic framework, but yeah. All right, so the index funds, let's look at gold real quick. That finally, you know, this is like what you would not expect, right? Ever, we expect nothing, but hey, man, if risk-ons ripping faces off, Nasdaq futures all-time highs. Which actually, let me look at that first, because it's like in the title of the stream. So I think it's like, there it was, chat. So let me give you a good old-fashioned Jesus chimes, because that right there is history. No other index fund futures, no index fund period did it, and this was it, man. The one of the 8, because we'll go 4 and 4, you know, 4 index funds, 4 futures, one of the 8. Hype in the chat. So yeah, you still got the W shape there, but you know, you're starting to separate from the pattern completion zone. They could hop it. It could go higher for sure. But yeah, you could think, I mean, Oracle hitting all-time highs today. Some big tech doing stuff. And then you got some semiconductors doing well today too. So just propagating this thing to levels we've never seen before. In probably, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an all-time high this evening. We just hear another beep. Wow, fresh off the presses. Okay, yeah, let's look at gold now. Sorry, I was gonna do that. Just here it is. You know, that dark cloud cover. You're always looking to identify Japanese candlestick patterns at resistance or at support. This would have been a piercing line reversal at support, candle close, right? So it was cool, right? We're not looking to do anything on gold, but to see the pattern develop at resistance, and then you caught the follow through candle, not the next day, but the day after, and now look, caught some follow through from there. So if risk on continues to ascend violently like it has been, well, you'd imagine gold's job is done and it's going to pull back more. So that is 3 failed attempts. I mean, major uptrend, but dang, you just got to start wondering, that high and then this high that was literally the same one. These 2 highs are lower than this high for now. So was that like, less than before? Harder to say because the candle close is the same. So yeah, interesting. Gold, good luck on this one. And then silver real quick, that, you know, these are not value plays at all. They run, but like, yeah, they're trying. I mean, short-term top could be in. Nothing on the oscillators to help give you an edge. But one thing about it, just still another day above the 2011 and 2012 old major overhead resistances. There's a candle close here from 2 times 2012. So it's just, you're above it for now. So we can look at, you know, so Mag 7 real quick. These are the market drivers, the large market cap stocks in the world. They drive it, man. Everything. Things are good on these. The world is okay. So we can start with the best to the worst. Nvidia real quick. W shape, same thing. That's wonderful. You know, you got the highest daily candle close confirmed on Nvidia officially since January 6th of this year. So not even the highest high of the year, but maybe tomorrow. Unfilled gap below us, but what a nice 2.59% rally. And just finally, after all these, like, that's like 2 weeks of data. Finally, after all the meandering, a nice impulse candle higher. And you're above the old all-time high at 140.75. You, in fact, you back tested it as support June 13th. So you just got to go one at a time. You got 149.58, which is that high from November. It was also back tested in January. So that's it. You got like what, a couple dollars to the psychological 150 that's also been tested truly. And then after that, you just might be reaching for all-time highs at 153.20-ish. This is spectacular. This is NVIDIA. You cannot stop it. It doesn't matter what it does in the short term either. This asset is, I think, will be the #1 market cap stock in the entire world one day. I just don't know when, but it's trending that way. And so this thing is just inches away, percentage points away from all-time highs. How far off are we now? Only 3.38%. Let's freaking go, dude. Pump it. You pump this. You pump AMD. You pump Intel. You pump them all the semiconductors. Amazon up 2% today, your second best performer. Just gapped up a little bit. It was up higher at the highs of the day, but it's cool to see that this bearish divergence that was identified, I mean, it's there on the MACD histogram, catching no follow through. In fact, you give me a couple more days of sideways or up, slightly up, you get hidden bullish divergence like immediately. So we got 106.2. So technically right now on Bitcoin, trading above that major the two candle closes from late 2024, early 2025. So we're right there, man, on the new day. And we closed the day, wow, as all these candles, we closed above the 200 simple moving average in the 4 hours. Well, that's nice. So if the 4 hour was real, look where you're at. Like, you got this little 106.550 would be maybe a next resistance locally. June 20th, 4 days ago. And if you can break that, you're breaking into 106.9, 107.9 after that. So cool. Floating on up, dude. Let's go to Meta. Let's go. All right, you finally, as of today, hit an 88% retrace, but you actually exceeded it. And if you want to talk about candle closes, you're almost there. It's like 716, 716.15. So you'll probably get that gap fill officially tomorrow, the one from February 18th. So that's good to see. Can't stop this market, man. Who do you think you are? You think you're going to stop the United States equities market? Who are you? It always wins eventually. Give it enough time, it always wins. Don't fade it. And I guess you can't fade Bitcoin if the equities market's doing this. Google, it was up like 1% today, but just lame, very lame performance compared to the others. This and Apple are just kind of like, yeah, I'd rather just own NVIDIA, man. Or, I'd rather own Tesla or Meta over Google, even though, so Google's got like maybe a value perspective or some sort of, I missed out on all these others. Well, maybe Google can be the wagon in which I hitch my horse to, or vice versa, whatever. Hitch my horse to the wagon. No, it'd definitely be the wagon to the horse. So just nothing here. I mean, I guess if you're above 160, given enough time, you're okay. But you're below the 200 moving average, which Mag 7 is currently trading below the 200 simple moving average. I'll tell you right now, chat. It's only Google and it's only Apple. So the two of the 7 biggest losers of the year, Google and Apple. Okay, so Microsoft in another world or dimension, all-time highs once again after yesterday, same thing. You have that 1272 target, psychological $500. We're at 490, so I would say it's probable we'll see 500 at least be tested. Yeah, so It was the worst performer of the Mag 7 early in the year. It was. It was just, I mean, really all last year too, it was the worst performer. And so they've caught it up now. And it's the best. Apple, just, I don't know what to, it's a Rubik's Cube. Like, someone can construct a trading plan. We've talked about this to manage risk here with a tight stop loss. You don't really want to own it below 196 because given enough time, it's going to 180, low 180s, 170s. But yeah, it's just kind of like, wow, a face-ripping type of day. Things did very well. Nasdaq futures all-time high. We'll probably get another Nasdaq futures this evening. And you just got Apple sitting here trading at the same price that it was trading at virtually, what, a year and a half ago. So not really promising. We should have seen, let's separate, man. Let's start really going. Why has it got to be controversial? Why we got to be closing at the lows of the day on the close and going from, we were positive most of the day and just, power hour, let's dump it and close at the lows. Gross. But okay, but there might be opportunity at the same time because we don't act and expect anything at levels. We're just watching buyers defend it, but they're just, if they retest it again, and they might just be absorbing remaining demand here. Demand is finally absorbed and they break it down. Yeah, the trend's not great either. It's just a bad situation for Apple. This and Google, gross. Okay, Tesla though finally had a hangover. Yeah, it did hang over. It was a bearish Mara Bazoo type of day. Like, there was not any shadow or wick on this candle. Bitcoin at the highs of the day. Bitcoin trading at its highest price. Wow, since the 20th. 4-day highs on Bitcoin, but we're getting real close to a weekly highs. So let's see if we can breach that. I'll have that alert set up. Maybe we can do it because on the 4-hour, 106.9 would be the next target area here. So not quite deep enough to call it a dark cloud cover. It's very close, but not 50%. And typically you want a 65% pierce through the previous candle body, but it didn't do it. So this was just a pullback day. I mean, to be real, Tesla above $300 is good for 400 if you give it enough time. Yeah, they might check it back to 300 again. That would be a crazy opportunity. If they ever did something like this, holy crap, I'd be longing maybe TSLL. If we ever did something like that, that'd be a wonderful opportunity. But again, I don't know. Like I don't think that's happening, especially if the macro stays risk on. Like I think Tesla might be going to 400 in time. So those are your Mag 7s, okay? Really good day on the markets. Okay, sorry, I think my music stopped, but my God. Let's get to these requests, though, okay? The first request of the day was AOUT, okay, AOUT. American Outdoors Brands Incorporated. It's been bad, very bad, boys, for a long time, but it seems like the composite operator had enough, and he said, breakout, and they're trying to back test this level. So if you wanted to take a shot, you can clearly see where maybe your line in the sand should be, right? And I'm just showing you swing low from 2022, swing high, perfect back test. Look at that up thrust, back test of up thrust before drawing down. That's the level. I don't think anyone in here would be like, no, dude, that's not the level, bro. Just showed you why it would probably be the level. These are up thrusts. Okay, fine, it happens. So they're checking back once and now twice. The thing is, they could do a fake. It was great. It was up 6.14% today. It's the exact same low. A lot of times you'll see, them, oh no, they violated. Oh God, we're screwed. Stop losses get triggered. The composite man bids up this supply. These people that are selling, they're buying it, and so they get a nice, their cost basis is good because they were buying. The composite man was buying down here, so he would maybe want to trigger some stops, but it didn't happen yet. So a lot of times you want this and then this on the second low, and then you get a dragon pattern, you get a spring back test, you get bullish divergent, you get a lot of good things on the lower low, and you get outperformance if it's a lower low double bottom too. So for now, yeah, you could look at it like a potential double bottom. And I would just be like, dang, dude, they didn't give you much of a chance, did they? They give you one day. I haven't looked at this like ever, I don't think. I've never looked at American Outdoor Brands, but here we are. So the closer you are to $10, the easier it is to manage risk optimally, right? Because wouldn't it just be simply bread and butter? The closer you are to $10, the easier it is to set up some sort of stop loss, you know, and then it's the easiest it is. I think you could target if you wanted to, maybe for the swing high from 2022 and the 200 moving average. You get 3.3 to 1 reward to risk, so it's equitable, an equitable setup. But you know, obviously this is la la land. I mean, how do you long an asset now, and how do you strategize a stop loss that's reasonable here? You're starting to get to a point where you can't, because all of a sudden it's like if you longed tomorrow with it being up 6% of the day and separated from that support, it's like, well, the strategy is just not as good, because like I can't even take profit at the swing high from May because it's only 2.1 to 1. So you always want 3 to 1 reward to risk, and that's why it's kind of like, oh, I can't do the trade setup today. But if you're lucky and we get some sort of pullback in the coming days or weeks and we get back to 10, closer to 10, then it's easier to set your entry and your stop loss and then taking profits. Okay, so we'll say it never stopped, and you know, the coming weeks, that's it, right? That was the only chance you had. Then, I mean, you got easy targets, 1224, 1314, and then I would think an 886 would be simple, like a high to low. 886, like $17. So those would be like 3 target areas for you, Anonymous, if you owned it, if you got in at that support. Great find though. Like the trend has reversed. It seems like there's been an ongoing buying campaign from 2022 to late 2024. So that's like 2 years of accumulation from the composite man, and it didn't start becoming apparent until March of 2024. Like you started saying, oh no, now we're making like, well, you know, in the you know, it's kind of crazy, right? Like looking at it in hindsight, because that was the request. But man, talk about a bullish bat pattern. Well, close enough, close to a bullish bat. You can make it. It was a shark pattern, bat pattern, whatever. There it is again, dude. Everywhere we go, 886s. They should make a musical. Everywhere I go, it's the 886. The bottoms and the tops, right? I mean, it's like type 1 reaction, and then this is kind of like type 2 return, maybe. Kind of tough, but in the end, right? At that valley in December 2023, it was not a 100% retrace. It was an 886 again and again, and it was the bottom from this lowest low to the second high, lowest low, right? Just incredible. It ushered it all in, looking back. But believe, you know, like if you watch it, there have been countless M-shapes identified long before their ascent. So you can say TA hindsight here, but man, just for education purposes, we're doing that. Yeah, Robinhood's nuts, dude. So that's out, you know, AOUT. If you we could maybe get lucky and get a pullback closer to $10, $10.22, it becomes a more optimum entry level. You're just kind of in a tough spot because it's up 6% today. All right. For the next request. Thank you, dude. What was once resistance is now, they're trying to confirm it as support. AOUT. All right. TODC. I thought it was Teladoc, not TODC. Is this something else? Touchdown. No, it is. I think you misspelled it. It's TDoc, right? You want Teladoc Health. Because that, whatever TODC was weird. Yeah, it was TDoc. Okay, thank you, Jack. Well, here's your issue, man. You're at all-time lows. Trend's terrible, right? When was the last time we put in a high or low? It was only during a redistribution situation. So you're asking like, all right, why not do until it all? Well, the issue is like, okay, you could play it. I guess if you wanted to play it, you made me play it. You're separated from that 683. That's the line in the sand for taking chances and stuff. Very tough, right? Because they spent from April 7th to June 24th. What is that? 7 weeks at this support. Finally separated yesterday. Finally. I wouldn't own it below that. That's for sure. But to be real, 920, it would be really cool to see some sort of price action correlation there. Okay, if you start doing something like this, all of a sudden we have like, oh, look, there's like some higher lows coming in. There's some like positive price action correlation to a historical swing low. You have more to go with than, wow, dude, look, it's a low and then it's the lowest low in the history of the asset. So is there any evidence the composite operator is conducting a buying campaign? I don't think there's enough evidence of that. It's just they're holding it for now, and I would like to see some higher lows come in on Teladoc. Remember, we just looked at the other one, AOUT. They had certainly reversed the trend. You were making higher highs, higher lows, and then when you stopped making higher highs, you just continued to make higher lows, and you're in that situation. This one doesn't have any. So you want any chart you're looking at, you want to see, if you're looking for bottoming structures, you're looking for higher lows at some point to strengthen your argument for, we're identifying the composite, man, accumulating. You don't have it here. You're below the 200-day simple moving average. It's just like, okay, I get it. Maybe it's confirming a bottom, but that's it. You could have a lot more to strengthen your argument for higher prices. You just don't have it yet. So that's what you would want. They violate the level, then they perfectly recapture it, and then perfectly back tested it. That would be an easier way to manage risk. But yeah, anyway, thank you, dude. Whew. $10 million Rolex. I didn't even know there was a Rolex worth that much. I know Richard Milles and stuff, and that's kind of crazy for a watch. Whatever. Okay, next one was MicroStrategy for Sleepy T. Wake up, Sleepy T, wake up.
Bruh.
All right, so he's like, hey, look at MicroStrategy. All right, here's your Michael Saylor stonk. And you're like, oh, well, look, is that some sort of local confirmation low? Well, where is it correlating? Is there a support that it's testing? I don't know. No, not at all. There's nothing here. This one's still, I don't really see much of a structure. Do you? I would like to see $333 be back tested formally as support, because they blasted through that like it was nothing. And that's the old all-time high from March 2000. I would like to see this be back tested 343. I think you would, like, if anything, I'm saying I would like that, because if you're getting down to these levels, then it just starts making more sense. If you were looking to construct a plan, right? Because all we're trying to do here is construct trading plans that are equitable, that are strategic. And too long after a gap, it gapped up today. Well, that gap will fill. These gaps always fill. This one filled. This one filled. So wouldn't you want this to just maybe? Oh no, it's all over. They're taking it to 200, and then they recapture this level, and then we get something like this. That would be like pristine for a swing trader. But right now you're just kind of in la land after a really nice rally, right? That was an incredible run. But now you're just kind of correcting. You got an unfilled gap at 398, and they could run it, but the unfilled gap just now below 367. So it's not about like where an asset's going next. It's about, can we create a trading plan that makes sense based on not just structures, but structures that have completed at or are in the midst of being completed at inflection points or zones. And like, I think like your next one would be like 333, 341, right? Does that make sense? So that's where we're at. I don't think there's anything like actionable for the swing trader right here. I think you're flipping coins on where MicroStrategy is going next. And it's not even like a certainty that if Bitcoin somehow was to breach the gates of Mordor and somehow get through the millions of orcs in Mordor and you don't die to the Nazgul and the poisonous air in Mordor, and you somehow got to Barad-dûr, you got to Mount Doom. Even if Bitcoin did all that, it is not certain that MicroStrategy would continue higher. And we know that based on history. Right here, I've got it plotted out for you. Bitcoin on the last cycle, 46.6. That was all-time highs on MicroStrategy, or not all-time highs, but like, decade plus, 20 years plus highs, okay? It blow off topped. And Bitcoin was only at 46.6. Then it crashed, and then you had Bitcoin hits all-time highs. And MicroStrategy is extremely lower than the high when Bitcoin was at 46.6. And then all that time in 2021 went by. The Bitcoin conference, the summertime lulls, and then that rally from July of 2021 all the way to November of 2021 concluded with MicroStrategy just matching the high from April and still being 32.33. Let's just do it, dude.
32.33, repeating, of course.
Okay, 32.33% off the multi-year high, cycle high. So that's my issue with MicroStrategy. I have concerns just because of that. You're kind of gambling a little bit, owning MicroStrategy over Bitcoin if Bitcoin wants to go into price discovery, because MicroStrategy is not really at a inflection point here. It may go sideways while Bitcoin continues higher. You know what I'm saying.
Marijuana's bad.
Oh, sorry. Okay, next request. Thanks again, Sleepy T. Let's go to DKS for mugs. Sorry, keep y'all waiting. I'm trying to get the request. Dick's Sporting Goods. All right, some retail. Let's get some retail, dude. Well, as it did see all-time highs, it's coming off of that. I believe all-time highs. Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, all-time highs. Okay. Yeah, what a trend, man. What a freaking trend. But yeah, just they had something like this going on for a while, didn't they? Man, that was pretty crazy. Wow, what a nice upsloping channel. The price was contained within, and then they broke it, they back tested it, and you dumped. And then whatever this is, my God, something crazy happened on DKS, still below 200 moving average, and it was like a abandoned baby situation. You gapped up, and then 2 days later you gapped down. Wow. And so now you're just sitting kind of randomly. You're not at, see, that's the problem. Like, are you at a key inflection point looking left from history? There's nothing here. Never in the history of Dick's Sporting Goods outside of April and May have you ever seen price action pivot here. So it's not the strongest argument. So they engulfed it yesterday, and you rallied today at 1.41%. I guess if you wanted to, if you made me like manage my risk here, I would assume like your stop loss would be below 166. I don't think you want to own it below that. I think below that level, you got a date with 152, this zone back here from 2021, 2023. I think you just got downside. But hey, if they get 1 and 2, they confirmed it, and now all of a sudden we got a higher low. Maybe there's too much demand on Dick's Sporting Goods that they can't test it again. So maybe a subtle sign of strength is going on off that engulfing. Okay, maybe. In the end, I just think that you would cut your losses quick and tight below 166, and your target, if what we are witnessing is real, easy gap fill target like 209. I think that would just be a simple way to try to target and stuff. So 183 though, and then how we do it? We do it like that, I guess. 183, 186. See, those are big resistances. That's what they're testing. So you just got a local low, and then you've got some real levels from 2024 here. You're sandwiched between. So it's, I know what happened. They did break a supply line for sure. They definitely did that. So that's the way you pay. The only way I could see anyone playing this is like stop loss if you had to below 166, and then your upside at least 186, but hopefully your gap fill will be the 209 target, and that's what you'd be looking at. What's up, Paul? Likewise. Stop talking about yourself. You wanted the 3-day and the weekly crap. Sorry. Oh, 3 days interesting because the 200 moving average is here. That's what they're doing. And you got some bullish divergence, convergence. Oh, okay. It looks a little better. Okay, nice. Yeah, just kind of the only thing holding you, that's what you're looking at, the 200 here. So interesting. But again, the way you would construct a trading plan is no different, right? Maybe you'd be even tighter. You'd be like, okay, I'm just trading the 200 moving average now. I'll be stop loss at 170 on the 3-day. Really tight, because that's what they're holding. And that bullish hammer is pretty much, that's a beautiful little bullish hammer that's kind of still active. It's a real bullish hammer right there on a 1 and then 2, the confirmation line maybe. Okay, making me feel a little bit better about DKS on the 3-day. He said the weekly could be going for a piercing line, 2 days, 20 hours. But yeah, you just think about like the weekly and you say, don't we typically get like deeper retraces? Like think about if it goes to 119, my God, we get a beautiful 886 M shape, you know? I think like you can't really get too excited on the weekly. You can't get too excited on DKS until they're recapturing 187 or 186, 183, whatever. That's like the range it was confined in for such a long time, right? And you're below it now. You're correlating negatively to it. So that would make you feel real good. You know, the upside on the weekly would be tremendous above 186. So maybe they're trying to confirm with a false bearish breakdown, 1 and 2 here. And if something like this happens, oh boy, you're in great shape for that. Yeah. So that's hopefully what's going on. Not enough asks, and sellers can't do enough with the bearish breakdown, so they'll be punting soon and giving the ball back to the Bulls offense, hopefully. So that's the level, 183, 186. Sorry, I'm just going on, man. Diatribes or freaking rants. Okay. UPS. I just kind of talk out loud, so, Oh, cool to see that UPS had a falling wedge and it broke down. It resolved downward. We don't get that often. Not too often. Nice. Did we get a measure move with the falling wedge? I don't know. Let's see. Low, high to low from the breakdown. Did we get it? Oh, man. We didn't get it because there's support. Some support resistance. Oh, that's a good zone. The UPS on the weekly. Wow. You can't tell me this isn't real as F. Let me see if I've got some overlapping stuff. No. Low to high, we are at an 88% retrace. So you got a value perceived area from a major to central swing low from over 5 years ago. Wow. Just get rid of the wedge. So pretty much 80%, 85 to 90% of the way to the measure move. And Bukowski even talks about why do measure moves not get achieved? Because resistance support looking left. And that is exactly what happened. It hit this like insane steel wall where we got data going all the way back to 2004 on it. You can see support, it chopped forever. That's the problem. It might just do that again, but you're getting it to a level where you would like think, hey, could we get a reaction? You could. I'll just show you real quick. Like, what are you talking about? the M shape. Whichever anchor point you use, it's going to be valid in this situation where there's a shark or a bat. Yeah, 50% on B, 61% on C. Then right, it's like beautiful. You do have a beautiful bat that has yet to really catch a reaction. Remember, if you want a reaction, you're probably going to need to see 114 to 120. That's like for the scalper. If someone was like scalping UPS, or they were like, hey man, I'm a short-term trader on UPS. Their stop loss is like $89, and they're probably be targeting to exit at 114 to 120. Right? That's just your next big resistance, I would think. So, well, the trend's terrible. You've been in a downtrend for 3-year downtrend. When's the last? See, that's the thing. Don't you want? I love M shapes, man, but I love like confirmation lows. I love local higher. I like higher lows. I like evidence that there is real accumulation going on lately. And someone will be like, but dude, it's a higher low than the low from over 5 years ago. Not really that interested. I mean, market participants change. People get fired, right? Composite man, he retires. A new composite man comes in. Hey, new one. So I'm talking about like here you want to see like some good stuff. You want to see like a 3 rising valleys develops or something. Like, you know, like, okay, this, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, there's too much demand. Then all of a sudden, it's like, wow, we got a lot to work with here. And then they take it high, you know, but like you just right at the type 1 reaction area, and they haven't even really reacted. So, but yes, you are at a value perceived area on UPS, but not in an uptrend, in a multi-year downtrend, but at key support. Okay, anyway. Kava. Oof. 50 Shades of Gross on the weekly. Like, yeah, you're hanging on by your chinny chin chin here. You better hold, dude. Wow, what a terrible trend. I mean, since all year? Yeah, the whole year has just been miserable for Kava Group. But yeah, I know why you are requesting it, because you're like, dude, here's a high, here's a low, here's the lower high, here's the lower low. And they confirmed a bottom. Here's the problem though, locally, one low and the second low, they're confirming it, right? Dang, man, confirmed bottom in, baby, let's go. 101, that was it. You couldn't even break the psychological 100, and now you're just selling off, and you're right back down, and you bearishly engulfed today. We had a good macro day. Nasdaq futures all-time highs, and you're just sitting here engulfing, and it's like, oh, now we're like staring at, is this a left shoulder head, right shoulder situation? That's a tall pattern, dude. That's death. I mean, if they don't hold 72.80, it's a pretty easy target for $58. There's no question about it. So I get why you would be requesting it, but I think I have finite capital, and there are literally unlimited places I could put my capital. I'm looking at this chart and I'm like, I could find better, for sure. Easily could find better than Kava coin or Kava stock, more restaurants, more consumer services. But hey, who's to say it can't hold? If you wanted to construct a trading plan, a stop loss maybe below $70 somewhere and let it ride, your target would be 96, 92, but I got a feeling you might very well be getting stopped out sooner rather than later. So that's it. If you go in with the not identifying the context, caring about the trend that is no longer your friend, and the price action today, it's the 3-day, right? Bad. We're having a good macro day. Remember, everything is like all the Mag 7s, all these big techs, like tons, not all of them, but most of them. Microsoft, all-time highs. Spider, 2% away. NVIDIA, 3% away from all-time highs. And you got this crap. And it's like, you really want to trade this? If you made me, if you were like, you better manage your risk. This is the only way I would know how to do it. Okay, I would not want to own this asset below $70, 70.50 or whatever, due to the implications of what would happen. History shows probably $58. And if it did hold, oh my God, it's a miracle. The Kava Group, they're going to change the world. Apparently, they came out with a new food that increases revenue by 2,000%. What? we're going to 95 bucks, and that'd probably be about it. You know, like that would probably be exit or take profit heavily. That's it. That's how I do it. So thank you. There's your combo, and the next one was SO for Infinite Paradox. So, dude. Old SO, man. Yep. It's like, it's still not dead yet, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so you still have a valid, it's a bearish bat. I think McDonald's was a shark. It's a bearish bat that had a type 1 and a type 2. And positive price action correlation to the 200-day simple moving average. It's just going sideways. It's not over yet. Yeah, I think you're in what I would consider this some sort of purgatory, harmonic purgatory. I don't know if Scott Carney would approve of that. But the situation here, it's because you have some sort of like supply line from October 2024. You see March 2025, then tested and tested and then tested and tested. And it's about to get tested again, probably in the coming days, weeks. So why I don't think it's not an invalid harmonic. It's not a harmonic dud yet because they need to truly take out the X point and go. And they haven't done that yet. And you just most recently made a lower low than the previous low. Before that was a lower high than all the previous highs. And now, yes, it looks good locally with the 200, but you're not making a higher high yet. So there could be like actually a trend reversal going on, and it's very subtle and it's hard to identify, but you've got the evidence of that. At the same time, on the other side of the coin, you could say, well, I mean, this thing should be rolling over. We should be at 80 bucks already. We should be way lower. The context is good for a harmonic reversal, but it just too much demand. They're propping it up. All the money's going, from 401ks, right? That's why. This thing's a, electric utilities company. It's massive. It's defensive, very defensive. People go to utilities, okay, in bad times, and so I think we're in purgatory. It's like you haven't caught enough follow through to say it's a successful harmonic. I think getting to 82 and 80 bucks and then lower would be like, oh yeah, that was very real. I guess you could say it, and actually, identifying it did roll over. I mean, from the pattern completion zone in the type 2 return, you can clearly see that SO lost 11% of its value off of that pattern. Didn't get denied. It was perfect. So at this point, we would say it was successful, but if they start breaking it way higher now, you'd say, performance was kind of lacking. Because we would say the A and C point, the aggressive targets, you would look for 13.14% downside. So it's moderate to meh performance already. So it's already successful. But to the point of sometimes these harmonics develop and it's just a trade and it performs and then the overall trend continues, okay? Or these W shapes, type 2 returns end up being the end of all ends, like cycle tops where, all right, we run up one more time and then we dump and then we're making a lower low, oh God, and then a lower high and then a low, and then oh God. That is oftentimes what can happen. How many infinite times have we seen this happen? Come on. This long established downtrend forever, and then the M-shape, type 1, type 2, the harmonic framework develops, the accumulation starts coming in, the momentum has been killed by the buyers, and then your trend completely reverses. So it's just we're not acting like we know what outcome it's going to be, but I would say it already succeeded. Just bad performance so far. Does that make sense for harmonic bros? Yeah, that's your SO. And then you have McDonald's. It was the same similar situation, but perfect, right? You have a type 1, 113 shark. They even did it 3 times. All 3 of these highs were lower than this high, right? So it was almost like the rule of 3, and then dump. And then, just 2 days ago, so your lowest price since January, below the 200 moving average. So it's very interesting. We had a harmonic on SO and this one performed better to the downside. And so now you might start catching rallies here, and what would happen? They could back test this level, or they could run up, fill the gap. They could run to an 886 and do something like this, right? And then it go even lower. Like that's a very real possibility. So, but initially, nice. It called a short-term top, right? So like since the pattern completion zone, just look, it lost 12.55% of its value. So that's right. Well, McDonald's, open the chat. All right, so that was the last request. Christian, thanks for the sub on YouTube, dude. Believe me, if you saw how it was spelled, you'd say, Christian! Okay, so, right, I think we all understand the critical areas that we are at on Bitcoin, right? Candle close, candle close. That's not a joke. That's where we closed, right at it. We closed at the gates of Mordor, the black gate itself. We are not in Mordor at all. We're just outside of it. And that's it. So we have no expectations about how this is going to go. I have no idea if we're just going to come in and just break through and head straight to 108.4, 108.5. At the same time, like, you're at a point where this is exactly where it could be reversing. We know one time it did do that, literally, right? That one time, like it was already established as a candle close, it was there. And they sold it off, and it got just like scary little fake out we got on Sunday, and they rallied it where? All the way up to this exact same point before reversing. So you just cannot expect anything, man. To expect something short term is to have your emotions own everything, because if you expect us to break it and it reverses to the downside and we go test 100K next, then it's going to trigger emotional responses. It's going to mess everything up. It's going to affect your next trades. So just no expectations. We just look at the levels and we look at the price action correlation to those levels. And when we get good, well-developed structures at levels, we can construct trading plans. And we have an edge, but we just don't really have an edge here. A true structure at resistance, it's just testing it, man. What's up, SoFlo? That's a good question, man. I'm not a dividend guy. Some of your best dividend stocks. Look at this, man. Look at this. What's the dividend pay on TU? Tell us. Everything turned around on this. Beautiful. Like, so this is on my dividend watch list. What do we got? 7.12% dividend paid on this one, even though it's been terrible. But it finally M-shaped. And then spring, back test of spring, falling wedge breakout, actually making a higher high than the previous high. Interesting. Wireless telecom, I don't know, man. I mean, I think you're upside 1876. Yeah, I guess you don't need to be as worried about, the trend if you're just paying dividends, but it's interesting. I'm looking at this one. What's RY is another one. Dang, man, this one's great. This one's paying a 3.3%. dividend. It's hitting all-time highs a few days ago. Great trend. Wow. IRM dividend. Okay. Real nice. Look at this. Look what they did. There was this uptrend and then extended out. And what they do, that's where it bottomed. And now it's running. Breaking that 200-day simple moving average is a gap filled officially. Well, it hasn't filled yet officially, but it's very close. But this one pays a 2.78% dividend. Looking good, man. Long-term uptrend. So that's what's great about that. You want a long-term uptrend with a high dividend. So that one, Iron Mountain Incorporated. Realty Income. Very interesting. Whoa. Holy crap. So this one pays a 5.4% dividend.
Thoughts on BCI commodity ETF?
Good.
Too.
I'm sorry. Why did I even have that up? Oh my God. Okay, so TU, RY, RIM, good. Then here's O, and this one's really cool because we have price action correlation to a key level and some structure. Look at this. Swing, undeniable. 2013, 2015. on O. This is just O, the ticker. Okay, we know supports before big runs, and I really like to see the lowest low and then a higher low get put in, and then a higher low than this low. These two lows rival this low. So all of this is a form of confirmation there's more than before in November 2023. But now we're getting that recapturing and the reconfirmation of 55 being a good support. So it's easier to manage risk here. Even though you're asking about dividends, I'm just looking at this from the technical standpoint. You got $66, $67 target up there eventually. But again, a 5.42% dividend on O. So trying to break that 200 moving average. So this is this one could be good for a dividend portfolio if you wanted to. And then PSA, public storage. This one pays a 4.07% dividend, and it's also at a pretty kind of interesting level, maybe. It'd be nice, though. It'd be nice if we were able and blessed enough to receive something like this. Oh, my God. It'd be way better. And then even like this. Dude, give me that. I'd be like down. But the fact, why we want that. Because the old at 2016, 2019, you can see that. The levels, support. So you're off a good entry here. But again, these are just high dividend yielding stonks. They all make money, whatever. So something to think about there. And then you said BCI commodity ETF for Nate. I don't know what. Bloomberg all commodity strategy K1 free ETF. It's free? Wow. I mean, it's got no volume. But yeah, structurally, this is why you requested it. Because you're like, dang, dude, is that some sort of rounding bottom action? It looks beautiful. Or, I would call this more rounding bottom than I would inverse head and shoulders. That's beautiful. Beautiful symmetry. And then you got a really well established like neckline, like a breakout point if it was going to do it. That's very pretty. Very, very pretty. But they didn't break out. They had a false bullish breakout. And look at the consequence. Down 2%, gap down. I mean, these gap all the time. Very low volume. So, how do you manage your risk here? It's kind of tough. I guess probably below $20 you would cut your losses. Commodity ETF. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you got like I don't think you saw it. You saw 78% retrace, not 886. Low to high. Ooh, you got in between the 786, 886. So you're getting down there, but there's not much really to go off of looking left unless you're regarding the scam wick. It is close, man. Yeah, I guess you'd cut it off maybe below $20.15 or something. Really below 1965 to be safe. The previous discernible swing low in these situations. You just want the trend to continue. What's the trend? Just consecutive higher lows. Higher lows, higher lows. More than before. It was like the lowest low, then the same low. And then it was like, wait a second, all of a sudden, just like that, more than before. Right now we have a 1, 2, 3. It is a 3 rising valleys. Take this out and you can see the structure. It's just there. So this is the confirmation line because you have 2 peaks in 3 valleys and 3 rising valleys. Very nice. It's very proportionate. The swing lows proportionate to each other. There's good symmetry here. So the invalidation level would be below 1950, this third valley. That's what invalidates a potential class accumulation structure. So very pretty. Even with low volume, 350,000, to 500,000, you want 1 million minimum. And your big breakout point, you can clearly see it's just so well defined. Cool to see that someone is more than beforeing. Okay, and it's been going on since later last year. Interesting. Nice look, Nate, maybe. Hey, Bitcoin's doing stuff. We're at 106.4. Looks like I'm waiting for the alert to go. We hear the alert, then we're getting the highest level seen since the 17th, which we might get in a few minutes. It looks like we're getting it in moments. So we're pushing higher. The future is not really doing the same thing. They're green though. We're positive on the new day, up 0.04%, whatever. So let's go Bitcoin, dude. Let's pull it up on the daily. I don't know why my music stopped. Did it really? How long have we been live? Oh, an hour 45 minutes. God, man. Been live forever. Okay, yeah, I'm about to get some dinner, man. I'm starving. I don't know if it was a good stream or not. I just black out and do TA, you know. It's just kind of what we've been doing 7.5 years now. So, yeah, we know Michael Saylor bought more. Hey, good, look at this. Look where we are. For now, all things can change. But the level, we are currently trading above it. So, very nice. If you stay above this level, given it enough time, it's an easy 108.4. 108.5 if it's real, okay? Unless they just start, nah, it's Asia, we're not gonna buy, we always sell, okay. But hey, if they keep it up, that would be your next target, 108.4, 108.5. That would be the second gate. After the black gate, there's another gate. And then if you broke 108.4, then you're starting to actually break into Mordor. Then the 108, 109.358 is where the millions of orcs, right? And the Nazgul is the downsloping resistance. You're going to have to fight them at the same time. It's not going to be easy, man. Better bring some elvish magic. Okay, maybe the Valar will help or something. Get some eagles. That's where you're at. So, a lot of work to be done to finally destroy Sauron once and for all. Okay, chat? Can I go live more? Bro, I go live more than anyone, especially over the 7.5 years I've been doing it. So, but I want to see you, if you're a streamer and you've been doing it 7.5 years and, you know, things aren't like, again, I was talking about discoverability, viewership and engagement and all that just goes down no matter what you do. It's like, you know, it's tougher. It's adversity. You got to overcome it. It's resistances. It's like trying to overcome it, trying to live life. So I feel like I go live adequately, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'll continue going live no matter what. But thank you all for coming out. Thanks for likes, love, support, contributions, everything in between. Be sure to join the Discord if you haven't. There's you know, education, active Discord community. People that care about stocks, crypto, technical analysis. And then we have a premium group where I'm 100% crowdsourced. So if you want to support me and my team, then you can join the premium Discord or the Patreon, where you get trade setups, access to charts, more access to me in general. And again, above all, you're supporting someone who decided to never sell out and promote anything to you for these live streams. So commercial free broadcasts every single time. So thanks for watching. I'll be back. Till next time. Respect the TA.